today's project, we're going to make some garlic, mushroom and herb bread. Start off, we've got 2.5 cups of flour, we've got 3/4 of a cup of warm milk, 1 large egg, 3 tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of butter, and 1 tablespoon of active yeast. I've put the yeast, the sugar and the salt into the flour. We're going to give it a good whip up with a whisk to mix it all together. Alright, so now I've added the butter into the warm milk so it can melt, make things a bit easier for us. Right, once the butter's melted into the milk, we can just add that to the flour. After that, we're going to chuck the egg into the flour, and we're going to start giving it a stir with a spatula. The easiest way is to do it with a spatula instead of your hands or with a spoon. Right, after mixing it for a few minutes, this is what we'll end up with, a nice ball of dough. It is a no-knead recipe, so we can just pop a lid onto it and leave it for half an hour to an hour until it doubles in size. So now we get to the exciting part. We can add our spices and herbs to give us flavor. Today I'm using about a cup of garlic chives. In here I've got about 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. I prefer the curly parsley. I think it tastes better in a dish like this. I've got about a tablespoon of basil. Here we have about a teaspoon of thyme. Thyme is very strong. I don't like using too much of it, but it does give me a lovely flavor. I've got a tablespoon of pepper. I've got a tablespoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of salt. We're going to put some mushrooms in this time. Don't normally put them in, but we're going to try it. We've got about a cup of mushrooms which have been sauteed on a very hot pan, so it takes all the liquid out. Crushed garlic, I'm going to stick about a tablespoon in, and here we have a cup of butter that's been melted slightly. You can see how nice and workable it is. So after mixing it all up, this is what it looks like. Your garlic, mushroom and herb butter filling for our gorgeous bread that we're going to be making soon. Can you smell it? I can. Right, so the dough's been sitting in the bowl rising for the last probably 1.5 to 2 hours. And look at that beautiful rise. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tip that out onto a floured surface, and we're just going to knead it until it gets into a nice ball that we can work with to make smaller balls out of. Right, we've removed the dough from the bowl now, put it onto a floured surface. We've kneaded it a little bit, doesn't need too much kneading, although it's fairly soft. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make it into a sausage shape like that, and then we're going to chop this into 16 pieces. So we'll chop it down the middle, and then we'll just divide that each half into 2, and then we'll make each one of those into 4, and we'll get 16 decent sized rolls after we've chopped this up. I'll be back when we've chopped it. Right, we've made the dough into the shape of the sausage. We've chopped it up into 16 equal pieces. Now we're going to take each of those pieces and make it into a little dough ball, and then we're going to start with the next phase. So after we've cut up the dough, we can roll it into little balls, 16 pieces, and then we start flattening it out. So we have little pieces that each one's going to become a roll inside of the flour. It's going to become a flour bud. Once we've got the dough rolled out into individual pieces, we can start taking our filling, which is this beautiful yummy butter that we have, and we just take a little bit and put it on the top of each roll. It's not too difficult. Don't need a lot. It's probably half a dessert spoon that I'm putting on here, not that much. I'll get on with the rest and I'll come back to you when I'm done. So now we've flattened out each of the dough balls, and we've put a heaped teaspoon of our delicious mix into the middle of each one. We're going to roll them up and to make our flower petals. It's really easy. You basically pull them over like that and twist them like that, and there you go. There's your first flower petal. What we're going to do is put those straight into a dish which I've already sprayed with spray and cook. You can butter it or do whatever you want to do, or do non-stick coatings. It's up to you. Okay, so now we've made our flowers. We've stuck them into the bowl that's been sprayed with a spray and cook. Now all I'm going to do is pop the lid on and let it sit and rise for the last time, and that's going to take about half an hour. So we stick the lid on and then put it aside. It's been sitting for about half an hour now. Now all we have to do is brush it with an egg wash, pop it in the oven at 180 degrees C for about 25 to 30 minutes until golden brown, and the job will be done. Here we have the final result. Garlic, mushroom and herb bread. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious?